All right. All right. So you have the outline I sent you, right? There's a lot of topics. All right. So guys, welcome to the Fireball podcast. We're changing format a little bit. We're going to call each of our live segments, something is burning hot. And today, Caitlin Clark is burning hot. We're going to dedicate the entire episode to all the issues surrounding her and put out honest opinions. I'm going to do the full thing live. It'll be here if you want to watch the whole episode, and then I will chop it up into segments that I have outlined. Just so you are aware, the things that we will be talking about today will be the endorsement money that she made compared to the salary money, the pay disparity, the jealousy from other people, the on-court physicality that is happening as a result. We're going to talk about why that is, if there's a race component to that, if we think it's right that she was left off the Olympic team, and we're going to be honest about if anybody really cares. Because I know I sure as hell don't. I do have an opinion on what's right and what's wrong, and my father and I believe, are as big sports fans as anybody. And what I can tell you is that we know that sports are probably a waste of time. It's a hobby. So you want to make sure to waste your time. I don't watch college basketball religiously. I don't watch women's sports. I watch basketball. I watch the NBA. I watch the NFL. I watch Major League Baseball. And I watch hockey. I want to waste my time on my hobby looking at people play it at the highest level. And to date, by the definition of a woman and the current women's leagues, they're nowhere near the highest level. I don't even watch college men's leagues, so I don't watch minor league baseball. I sure as hell am not going to watch the WNBA, and my God, it was painful. It was painful to watch this girl play and how bad her team is, and seeing this person that truly is worthy of playing out there with, men in a pickup game. But, their team doesn't know the difference between a zone and man-to-man defense. And she's all over the court and getting thrown around, and her teammates are obviously hating her. So, Dad, I'm going to throw the ball to you. I've introduced my general theory on what I think about this, and I want to see, we'll go item by item, but first, just want you to do an introduction and let us know, what the WNBA is in your opinion to sports, because, I think that the WNBA stars are to sports what the Kardashian stars are to sports, which is not much. I'm sure that you...
the NBA, the WNBA has a peak.
Tell me, what you think overall about, I don't know, what do you think about the fact that you and I could probably, off the top of our head, never tell you when the season starts and ends, how many teams there are, besides for a couple of the players. The ones I know best are the ones that have been in jail in Russia, China, I don't know. Brittany Griner, where was she in jail? The 42-year-old from Connecticut that's playing on the Olympic team. And Diana Taurasi, I know her. I know Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops. And that's about it. That's about all. And when I watch them, I see I get very confused because they, not all of them, but it's very odd to me that there can't be a team. There's very few teams that I've seen put together that all 5 starters actually play with fundamental skills mastered, and they're professionals. I mean, like I said, they play zone defense. I saw them playing either a 2-1-2 or a box and one, and doing it wrong. They were covering floor. They don't understand the concept. They just were covering that part of the floor. That their 20% of the zone is assigned. They don't understand the whole meet the person with the ball, in the middle. And that blows my mind. They're pros.
If you are a sports fan, you have working knowledge of probably most of the sports that are there. The details the way you do, maybe about the NBA or the NFL. But whether they're male sports or female sports, it's all part of the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
People say hockey
is a what sport? It is. It's not. I mean, they don't. You can tell everything by the amount of money they make. Hockey's great in the playoffs. You know what? You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. When you go to Bleacher Report trending, I did notice that the NFL is listed right under the majors as the current sports, and they're not even in season. And you have you have the NBA and NHL underneath of them. They're pretty much reporting on contracts and people pulling muscles before they're reporting on the 2 league championships. And the NBA is not like that. The NBA is obviously, and if not in this country, definitely globally, it is actually the most popular export that we have.
When I was growing up, the only sport that I had to watch was baseball.
Right, America's pastime.
Nearly as frequently as it is now. Football was on, but it was really only once a week. Did not have nationwide TV contracts. No ESPN, there was no Prime Video, there was no Apple, there was no streaming the game. So you basically watch baseball and you play baseball.
Yeah, and you almost had to do both of those, or you weren't normal.
But there were little league games, but were not nearly as popular as
Right.
sports have evolved over time. And started to grow popular with Title IX, college levels. There were no professional women, maybe roller derby. But there was no women's basketball, certainly no women's.
Actually, there's no women's sports anywhere in the world. That's why whatever sports we do play, we win. We win soccer. We win basketball. It's not a contest in the Olympics.
Well, we've lost basketball the last couple of times.
Yeah?
Yeah, we didn't win the last Olympic basketball.
Might be a good segue into maybe it's because how they pick their team. I know for a fact that the last Olympic team left off the 2020 and 2021 first overall pick, one of which won Rookie of the Year, and they blamed it both on injuries. That's what I thought you were talking about. That's what I say. The females, soccer, basketball, and softball, the other countries don't compete because they don't play women's sports in those countries. They have teams, but I mean, I'm talking about how our teams are bad. Our teams are dominant to the point that they can't even be challenged by another country because how you grew up, that's how it is in the rest of the world still. And no one looks at it like they're living in the dark ages. The women don't like playing sports, so they don't, period. Right, and that's changing because there's so many European players now. Yep, that's right. She's the one that got left off the. She got left off the 2020 team, the COVID team.
Well, she's there. When you look at sports involved, we play baseball because that's all that we ever saw on. As time went on, the NFL became very popular. Major League Baseball started to lose popularity, but football became more popular. The NBA continues to be popular, or I should say, gain popularity. They got better and better players.
Mm-hmm.
More money available at the next level, but at the women's level. And the first women's sport that really got some exposure and popularity was female soccer.
Right.
You worked those sports through young kids. They saw the success of the women's soccer team. Girls wanted to play more soccer. They
Mm-hmm.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's probably the most difficult sport to get picked for their World Cup team or their Olympic team because the competition is so vast.
Because it exists. I mean, that's about all.
Get exposure, and now because of its popularity, they make the same amount of money as the men's soccer program.
Well,
They had enough stars with a big enough microphone that they could get what they deserve because they make more money.
well, of course, but that's the key word: deserve. They showed on paper that they had higher ratings, that their championship was the highest televised soccer game in the history of the country, and that that they're watched more than the men's team. I don't know if overall, but they were able to actually show that they can generate at least the same amount of revenue, or they can compete. So that's why. So they do deserve it. I'm not against women. I'm against people telling me that Victor Wembanyama, who's going to be the first $3 billion athlete, he's going to sign a 320 and then a $530 million contract when he's 27 and 32. And, he's going to get $55 million for his first 4 years on his rookie deal. The girls get, Caitlin Clark's getting less than $100,000 a year. But I did it as a percentage of what the league takes in revenue. Caitlin Clark gets a higher percentage of the league's revenue than Wembanyama. And that's ridiculous. I mean, basketball players have such a strong union in the NBA. And LeBron and his whole crew and Maverick Carter there, they deserve a lot of credit with what they did with profit sharing and percentages of TV contracts and the Bird Rule. It's so sophisticated and so strategic. And Adam Silver is a great commissioner. He's these guys get tons more than they deserve, a lot of them. But the thing is, what do you deserve? I mean, the owners definitely don't deserve it more than the players. So I have no problem with them being partners with the owners. And if they're going to market that to China and to India and to all of Europe, which we cannot do, by the way, with football and baseball, then you know what? They are the biggest product that America exports. And they're definitely the best athletes. There's no question that basketball players are the best athletes.
You're making an apples and oranges comparison. The NBA has been involved for 70 plus years. Women's basketball has been involved for 30 years.
Yeah, but that's not totally true. What about Cheryl Miller? What did she? It just had a different name. Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's sister.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what she played in, but she was a famous female basketball player, and I think she was a professional.
There was no exposure for her.
still is subsidized.
some value,
It's the welfare league,
but I think
the welfare NBA, women's NBA.
and I think the point that everybody is missing, I'm going to draw an analogy here. Tiger Woods played golf.
Yes.
Golf was only considered the rich white man's sport
Mhm.
because Tiger hit the links and was successful. And
Yeah.
drew both white and black golf viewers and got more people, especially inner city kids,
White and black young viewers.
and the golfers appreciated the exposure he got because he paid them more money.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
He changed it all. He was the first and the last black golfer ever.
With Caitlin is she's the first person who has actually drawn attention
That's right.
to women's basketball.
To the tune of 379% more people tune into the games than their average regular season game. They tune in to watch her.
They had higher ratings than the men's basketball. That said something. So all the young girls.
I mean, yes, it said something though because it was an issue. It'll never happen again.
The WNBA players have to get in line. These are their meal tickets.
That's right. That's what I want to talk about. I get. Hey,
Look again. Compare her now. The enormity of Tiger Woods. There's very few athletes.
oh no, it's the exact same thing, and it's LeBron James and Michael Jordan. It's the same thing. Do you think that other NBA stars hate Jordan and hate King James, and they're not buddies with them? They love those guys because they make them more money. LeBron James turned the NBA into more profitable than anything in the world.
There's jealousy all over. I read something this week. One of the Yankees, they did a survey.
There's no jealousy in basketball.
And somebody, oh yes, there is.
Dad, the seventh highest paid player on the team makes like $15 million a year, and he might play 8 minutes a night. These guys make the stars make $500,000 per game. I mean, and 10 years ago, I saw that. Well, what I'm saying is that this is happening because of women. Men would not treat their Tiger Woods. Other golfers were jealous of the attention because they never saw it, but they loved the amount of money that they got. And after that, we have about 50 to 70 golfers that came after him that were under 30 years old that came in and became dominant into their 30s and 40s, and they were athletic bodies instead of a fat middle-aged man. Like they all respect Tiger. Only a woman would see, wow, this person's quadrupling our ratings. Hey, the NBA shares in the profit of their TV contracts. We might all be in line for, she's our gravy train ticket. Nope, women will knock her ass on the ground, and her own teammates will be supposed to set. They'll be the play will be obviously like a pick and roll or to screen, and they don't set screens for her. They let her get knocked on her ass. Well, I made sure to be prepared to talk about this, so I'm not just sounding like an ignorant person that is against women. To protect the star player, just like the NBA does. Yeah, the inbound pass you're talking about? Yeah.
That's why they changed it. I don't know, the level 1, level 2 fouls that they give, I don't know what that means. But she should have been tossed from the game. This was an intentional foul. And the ref hit 6 times. Ref was not working. She wasn't supposed to get the game.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the ref missed it because that doesn't really happen It wasn't like it was a press. She just got pushed on the ground. And, well, yeah. What about the teammates? Don't you fault them even more? If that was the NBA, what would have happened? Cleared the benches. They would have. Well, hey. Wait, excuse. Men have no control over their emotions like women do? Oh. No shit, but I think that men do that because they know that it's the right thing to do. That's my teammate. It's one thing if you foul him hard and you went for the ball and you're 255 pounds and you hurt him, but you didn't, that's why they have flag. But if you push someone on the ground in the NBA, I mean, they'd beat the hell out of you. I'm not saying that solves anything, but it shows that team, like you're supposed to love your teammates. What did the coach talk about? Vince Lombardi talked about it. The coach loves the players, and the players love each other, and they all have a collective love for their team. And even if their best friends are on the opposing team first. That's how you win. Well, baseball is a very odd sport considering you don't really play next to your teammates. You sit on a bench and chat with them. Um, but they do, but yes, I do, because baseball, I don't believe it's actually emotion. I believe in baseball, it's tradition. You plunk a guy after he hits a home run. You plunk the next guy. The benches are clearing, and there's like an unwritten rule in baseball. Like somebody throws at a guy on your team. Well, guess what? Next inning, your pitcher has to throw at the other team. If they don't, then guess what happens? The player that got plunked, they have that kangaroo court. They like hold trial if you don't like stick up for each other. It's very archaic and like a caveman thing, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but it does show like that you're supporting your teammates superficially, at least. What what do you mean? Oh, those stupid cards that they send for the players to talk. Yeah, I would. um, I yeah, of course it is. But they did it. You don't know who that was. We could guess. Maybe it's Verdugo. Maybe it's one of the backup outfielders. Maybe it's Maybe it's one of the catchers that can't, or Cabrera that's not getting playing time because he can't get worked into the lineup. Who knows? Although say, but what's that? Oh, that's okay. We're on YouTube Live, so you don't. Yeah, I can make you see me, but don't forget that what you really that. Oh, really? Yeah. So basically, the Google Meet that we have is just so I can hear you. Our show is on in the background, as you can see. But that's one Yankee. I say, as a whole, the Yankees have to be thrilled. Yes, but I do believe that you're going to find no more than the individual.
Jordan won a lot of his championships because he had really good players around him.
Mm.
Scotty Pippen, Rodman, dirty work underneath.
Yeah, and he made sure that that he put the team on his back when they needed anything to happen. But nobody denies that. But there was, and the thing was is that here's what, like, why Jordan is the best, because there's no jealousy of Jordan on that team. And basketball is just a different sport because you can undisputably be better. I mean, when you're the best player in the league, and no one can even win a championship if you're playing, because that's pretty much how it was. He took off for baseball, they didn't win, and then the next year the Magic beat him, and then he had another three-peat. In between the three-peats, he wasn't playing. But Jordan told his teammates he would just treat him like trash. And he said, I'm the alpha male. You bitches listen to me. Practice harder. Do this better. Do this better. And they, like, half the team hated him. Punched Steve Kerr in the face. But they respected him, because how can't you? This would not happen in a men's league. That's what I'm saying. Like, this has happened. You mentioned Tiger Woods. I just told you about LeBron James. I mean, like, like the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, and they have another one coming up in 3 years or 4 years. That's gonna no 3 years. That's supposed to make a max contract be over 110 million a year. Yes, they took it out of that era. It was, and then Jordan carried the torch, and then Kobe and Shaq, and then now but LeBron got him paid, because LeBron got the whole league paid. Um, yeah, yeah, but they won't. That's what my point is. Yeah, they're not going to be patient. They're women. Women are catty by nature, and hey, I'm not saying anything bad, but this is a fact. That league is a majority lesbians playing. They fight more than a drunk man at a bar. And Caitlin Clark is not a lesbian; she's heterosexual, and uh, so they don't like that. Yeah, but it's less than half of the league. Yeah, I didn't say everyone, but it's more than half of the league, and she's not. So she's a rookie. She's the girl with everyone's saying. So she broke the. She's the first pick. What's so great about her? Everyone was trying to discredit everything she did, and even though they couldn't do it when they were in college, no one, like, because it's one thing that if she just won the total points, but she won the total points per game, the most three pointers, the most three pointers attempted, the best 3 point shooting percentage, the best free throw percentage, the most free throws made, the most free throws attempted, the most shots attempted, like everything, most assists per game. She broke every single offensive record. And people don't know this because it's so hard to look up and it's meaningless, but she also had 990 rebounds, which is third amongst guards in the history of college sports, for female basketball at least, because I looked that up. I mean, what she did just is, it's incredible compared to those other girls, and they are trying to act like I'm better than her. She's nothing. Why are they making all a big deal about her money? What about us? Like, hey, if you guys were anything that anyone cared about, people would have watched you. Diana Taurasi, I remember that name. I remember Brianna something or other. You know, there's someone named Brianna, right? Yeah, that girl. Um, and yeah, they do. 2, 3, I can remember even. And Just the same reason Tim Tebow was not put on football teams. Yep. Well, she's 20. Right. But all right, but here's the thing though. They shouldn't be upset, definitely, because who cares? But here's the thing. That girl was not left off the team because of any practical reason. And again, and like who's ever in charge, like a commissioner at league, should have been like, "Are you fucking nuts? Do you know what would have happened to what Magic and Larry Bird did to the NBA if in 1992, when they went to Barcelona, if they left Michael Jordan home? I mean, the NBA just dies. It never becomes an international product. They that's but well, no, listen though. No, you can because Michael Jordan got the first sneaker contract of any athlete. He brought a different stratosphere. She has the first. She's 100. What she have $10 million a year in endorsements. I think she has 700% higher than anyone else ever had. That's Michael Jordan esque. Yeah, that's Michael Jordan esque. And here's the thing: they don't want like the sideshow, and like the girls are like, if she's playing and I'm not, like they will actually do that shit, and then you're letting the fucking inmates run the asylum. And I'm sorry for cursing. I know I'm not supposed to do that, um, but and if you look back in 2020 in 2021, the COVID year, like I told you, the 2021 they played it in 2021, right, in Tokyo. Yeah, I looked this up, and they the 2020 first round pick overall, who had missed her entire rookie season with a ankle injury or a back injury, and could only meet like 3 out of the 5 practices a week for the national team, and did play on like the 2019, or something nationally as a collegiate athlete. They basically, because she was a little banged up, they wanted to put her on the team and the 2021 first overall pick on the team, and they didn't put either because you can't put the newer girl before you put the one that's better, and that besides Caitlin Clark is the best college player ever, by the way, the 2020 first round draft pick. So they left both of them off. 2016 first overall pick on there. 2012 there's Nanette Kamu, I think the name is. She was Rookie of the Year. She's won the MVP. She's one of the stars of the league. She had a knee injury, so she wasn't put on. But 2008, that girl Brianna, she was on. 04, Taurasi on. 2000, they left it off. But 96, they had the first overall person on. The only one I didn't really dig into was 2000, but they were all first overall picks. Every single person. Huh? Yeah. Well, the first. I mean, Diana Taurasi was the first overall pick in 2004 for something. It says it on her Wikipedia profile. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe what you're thinking of is that the WNBA has been subsidized by the NBA for 13 years. Like I said, like what did Cheryl Miller play in and Lisa Leslie then? What was that? And Diana Taurasi and her teammate, back-to-back years, were number 1 overall. They played that Connecticut team that like never lost for 2 years. Remember? Yeah, it's WNBA. Yeah, Diana Taurasi, 2004 WNBA first pick, first overall, selected by the Phoenix Mercury. She played with them until present, which is what's that? hmm So the what's the name? Oh man, I just saw this name. It was on Rich Eisen's show. They interviewed very American name. She was actually, I want to say she was on the 2020 team. And if not, she was definitely on the 2016 team. And she was like 37. Sue something. Yeah, that's it. Sue Bird. She was a rookie on the Olympic team in '96. Rookie of what? I don't know. Like I said. And that's so telling. And all these girls, I hope they watch this. I hope this goes viral because I said something controversial. But unfortunately, like I said, I don't think anyone really cares. Yeah, but those two people might not be watching today. But those two fans might not be watching the show today. I mean, how many teams are there again in the WNBA? Like 16 or 12? 12 teams. So there's less than 200 pros, I'm guessing. And man, some of them are awful, especially some of the centers and power forwards. They just that are overweight. They just can't, you know, they just can't play the game the way it should be. You know, the team that I watched last night that played Caitlin's team. Shit, um, Connecticut. They're orange and like the Suns. That's it. The Suns. They have a center on their team, Bronson, I think, or Browson, that she can play. She can shoot the three. She can drive to the hole. She can dribble. They had multiple people that could shoot out from outside. They had people that could, and they just took it to them. But the game started. Caitlin Clark got the ball off the jump. She flies on a drive. The girl cannot, stay up with her. There, you can tell she's supposed to set a screen. The girl misses the screen, so Caitlin's not sprung open. So she takes a little back step and gets double covered for a half of a second and finds someone in the corner that hits a three. Next time, the same thing. They'd come up, double cover her. She just instinctively sees the open person that's on the point and then directs her like, hey, you're at the foul line with your back turned. The entire key is open because everyone's outside on the perimeter and they're playing man. And she just backs her way in as an easy layup. And then the next points they scored was her hitting a three in transition. Like I said, they were either playing a 2-1-2 or a box and one. And she was actually always under the rim, playing up at the point guard, guarding people in the backcourt, following the shots. And you'd see the center and the power forward were not boxing people out correctly. Caitlin. Yeah. Yeah. And she's getting knocked on her butt the whole time. But I just, like I said, she's like Seth Curry, great passer, great shooter, and she shoots from 30 feet away like it's nothing. It's gonna be very hard to guard her, and if you can, get her back, you should be able to build a team around her. They actually, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago, the third overall pick is on their team, and she's good too. And it's obvious those two girls. She's like a shooting guard, small forward, blonde girl. All right, all right, all right. Well, Thursday we're gonna talk and with Brian Kenny about Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani, and we're gonna have his 1 minute with him. So Thursday is gonna be a big show. All right. Bye bye. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to close by saying that this whole thing with Caitlin Clark, I know it's going to be perceived the wrong way, but let's be real. My dad didn't seem to get what I was saying. In a men's sport, you knock someone down on their butt like you saw happen to her on an inbounds pass. The inbounder just stood there and just walked over her body. I'm not saying fighting solves anything, but you do it, like I said, it's your duty, right? When LeBron came in the league, right, when he was 18 and made an impact immediately and then took his team to the Eastern Conference champion. He won the Eastern Conference every year, even though it took him going to Miami before he could actually win a title. But he was in the championship game every year for 7 to 8 years before he won. And he was the MVP every year. And all of a sudden, he gets a undisclosed amount of money from Nike because they don't even want you to know how much. It's like what Jordan got, ownership, but it's sealed because they don't want they need everyone to understand he's special. This girl broke records that have stood since Pete Maravich died before I was born. I'm 41 years old now. Let's also add that Pistol Pete's record was broken, wasn't shattered. It was she just beat it, and he played the exact same type of game as her, and his average shot distance from that was not a mid-range was 23.5 feet. So he hit shots that were over 23 feet on average 4.5 times a game. So he was missing out about 5 points a game, which if you do the math, I mean, he blows her out with the threes. And that's it's very hard to actually get a number because you have to actually go watch every game and imagine, because there's no line there, that all these twos that he's launching are threes. But the thing is, Pistol Pete, for a reason. It's like they said that it was like a rocket ship, like a gun was coming out of his arm. And she has a very similar shot, not the high arc like Seth Curry. It's almost like perfect form, and it just kind of, just like a pistol, just boom, just enough arc to get right in the rim, and it's nothing but net. Beautiful shot. But the point is, like, my dad, it's cool to see the different generations, right? He said he's born in 1951. He says, look, the NBA has Magic Johnson and Larry Bird to thank. Okay, I remember that shit. I remember, and we're New York fans. It's Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers. But when I was born, it was, you root for the Knicks, and I'm going to root for the Lakers until Magic retires because I like the Lakers. I like Kareem. I like Magic. I like Showtime. And diehard Rangers fan, diehard Yankees fan, hates the Mets, hates the Eagles. He's a diehard Giants fan. I know. So we, Don Mattingly, Lawrence Taylor, these two are gods to you. That's how we're raised. But I like the Lakers until Magic retires. Then we're going to go back to liking the Knicks. And Jordan comes up, and, in my childhood. I was born in 83. We're having this talk when he's getting ready to win his first title. And my dad is he's not better than Magic. Magic's a 6'9" point guard that can play every position, and no one can really control a game like him. And he would always tell the story about, I think in 1983, 1980, Kareem got hurt and he played center. But, Bird saw him and Magic saw him, Michael, that is, and said, he's the best. And when they went to Barcelona, everyone was talking about, is there going to be any struggling, because there's Barkley and Jordan and David Robinson there, but and there's Magic and Bird and some of the older stars that were there. Like Chris Mullin is on the, I guess, cusp there. And, there wasn't. It was, they said, like, first of all, that famous scene, Jordan walks to that big office building in Barcelona, and there is a 250-foot poster of him for Nike. And everyone, like the Beatles, got there. They call him the Dream Team. And it became an international product, right? He mentioned Tiger Woods, right? Like the guys might have been jealous. Like I remember that people say, they don't call fouls on Jordan because, the fans come pay money to see him play. They're not going to foul him out. And he has to, be responsible with that too. He can't just, be knocking guys over and to take the ball. They're not going to let him push too hard, but they're not going to call ticky-tack fouls on Michael Jordan or any of the stars in the NBA because they want him in the game. And the other people around, that frustrates him. But, Jordan, I remember he had a $25 million year because he had signed a long-term big deal. It was like $3 or $4 million before everything jumped in the other sports. So that 1-year deal was pretty much to compensate him for what he should have made over the average of his career. And, they paid him. And there wasn't anybody that, got close to that contract for another 15 years. It was just a one-off. Like I said, a reimbursement contract. He's that type of player. But this doesn't count. It doesn't apply to anyone except him. NBA players had the Jordan rules when he came in. Pistons beat him up a little. But his teammates didn't hate him. And not any other team. The Pistons were a rough team. The league was a rough league at that time. That was how the game was played. And Jordan doesn't love the Pistons, but Rodman was on that team, and he wanted to play, and Rodman won 3 titles with them. And that's not the only one either. I'm pretty sure some other people came also. And, the thing is Jordan got knocked on his butt every single game, and the Pistons would win. He got his personal trainer. He got into stretching, he got into weightlifting. He put 15, 20 pounds of pure muscle on. So the guy said, look, they can knock you down, and you're going to have an extra 1.5 inches of padding, rock solid muscle. None of your bones are going to get hurt. You're not going to be bruised, and you're going to bounce right back up. And half the time, they're not going to be able to knock you down because you're way more now. And you can have a different center of gravity. LeBron comes in the league. They literally go from averaging, a little more than hockey players, way behind football and baseball, to blowing past baseball players. Blowing past them. Jaylen Brown just signed for $59 million a year for 5 years, or for 4 years. $60 million a year. $60 million a year. NFL quarterbacks don't get that. And like I said, Wembanyama and like Luka Doncic, they're going to make over $1 billion in their career. They're going to pay them within 3 years. They're going to be giving max contracts to the people they extend, $100 million to $110 million a year because of the profit sharing they have with their TV deals. I'm not a big golf fan, but I do know that when I look at it, every golfer I see, I'm a little out of shape now, but I lifted weights from age 18 to 35. I didn't ever miss a day, and I'll always have a frame, right? I'll never be out of shape. And if I want to, 60 days, I'll be in great shape whenever I want to lift the weights. That's what golfers look like now, because that's what Tiger looked like. He was only skinny when he came in because he was like 17 years old. He wasn't even a man yet. He couldn't even grow facial hair. But, when he was a man, by the time he was 19, shooting 18 under par, for the weekend at a course where people behind him were, +1, -1, and he's -18. It's because he's out driving them all by 50 yards, and he's putting, precision in the power. Not just the John Daly, grip it and rip it. I can outdrive everyone, but I might hit it into the woods or into the sand trap. Tiger could do it all. And, Wayne Gretzky, he did it for hockey. Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton as a city, it's in Canada, in an American professional league. It's not even on the map in Canada. But the Edmonton Oilers because of Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. They won Stanley Cups, and then he went to L.A. Like, we're Hollywood now. And then where did Mark Messier go? New York City. You know, like, men's leagues do not have this catty, you know, jealousy. My dad was, of course, there's always going to be a player, but they privately voice their concern in those survey cards. They, you know, where the players write who their favorite coach is, who's the most, you know, fun teammate, who's the most annoying teammate, who's a bad teammate, you know, who's most overrated, underrated. It's the player surveys. There's a reason that the player surveys never match what, you know, the sports pundit surveys are, because, yeah, there's emotion in it. He's right. But here's the thing. Overall, when you talk to the players, to the commentators, to the coaches, and you take a vote, 90% of what they believe, you know, when they have a very clear opinion, is definitely something that is amongst the top 2 or 3 opinions of sports experts. And if you're smart and you know what to listen for, you know that these guys that are ex-athletes, that are coaches now, that used to be good players, you know, they have a way of seeing things that the best of us as fans, even if we didn't play pro, we'll never be able to see. But if you can understand, you know, that what makes this guy a good coach, and, you know, he wasn't a great player, but he was a good player, and he, you know, because he's smart, you know, you basically see the guys in sports, you know, they aren't catty about it. They don't hate the best player in the league. Juan Soto, you know, he seems like a little bit of a cocky guy. Look at my channel, the viral video of him doing the Soto shuffle. Zach Greinke almost took his head off, and he kind of stopped doing it by the time he got to San Diego. He toned it down. In New York, people hate the Yankees enough. They told him, you better not put those pinstripes on and dance in the batter's box. You know, who do you think you are? We've already had Reggie Jackson, Deion Sanders, and Ricky Henderson on our team. You know, we've already had our share of people that, you know, weren't overly, you know, not like your Terrell Owens or diva wide receivers, but for a New York Yankee that can't have facial hair, you know, they were a little wild. You know, they weren't happy ever. But anyway, I just want to say that Caitlin Clark has to understand that money talks. And if these people screw it up and they don't get paid because people aren't watching anything except her games, then they're going to have to look themselves in the mirror. And if they don't, WNBA is going to miss their chance till the next generational talent comes along. But she's not going to have anything to worry about. She's going to get paid. And yeah, she's 21. You know, she's getting, just like Jordan when he was a rookie, getting pushed around. Teammates start to get her back. They put one more good player on her team. Guess what? I watched this girl play. She just has that basketball IQ. You know, you are not going to be able to stop her on offense. She is going to shoot the lights out, and she's going to get to the line. They got to train the refs to start calling those fouls. And I think she has the right attitude. She says the right things. You know, when they talk about, you know, money, Wembanyama, he said the same thing. They both had a very similar quote. Like, look, whatever people are paid in this world, it's very rare that they get paid more than they deserve. So whatever I get, it'll be what I deserve. There's no too much or too little. It's, you know, what I deserve. And it's a business. That's what they're going to get. And there's an opportunity here. Like I said, their ratings are up 359%. You know, that's 4.5 times what they were. Theoretically, that means, so what happened in the NBA, that your contracts will go up 2.25 times what they are now. Everybody's. So, you know, you sit on the bench in the NBA, you're the last man on the roster, you have to make $3.9 million a year. That's it. You're a veteran, you have to make 10. I mean, like they're never going to get there, you know, and they shouldn't. You know, women's soccer team has as many viewers as men's. And we're just talking about the national team. You know, that's why they get that. That's it. They don't, you know, they also don't play a lot. You know, they don't make more money than the MLS players, or else the best players in the world wouldn't come here to do their retirement tour. Women have to, they want equality. They need to stop complaining about they don't have things as good as men. They have to stop torpedoing themselves. Women's rights, feminism, rah, but we're going to be catty and insult each other and keep each other down. We're going to build ourselves up the exact platform we need to take that next step, and then we're going to blame it on everyone else for the reason that we don't have what we need when it's right there for the taking. This girl, I see it in the league. The stars, just like in any league, there's a they're going to the Olympics together. The best players in the league are going to be on the same team. They're friends. Let this girl in your crew, because she's going to inevitably be there, accept it and make money. And don't expect her. She doesn't seem like she's the leader type. And she's not going to, do this so you guys make money. She didn't think that was going to happen. That just did. And when sponsors see the other women acting like that, they don't want to give someone a deal that is a good player in the WNBA that's throwing her on the ground. Are you kidding me? That's, to be a role model? If they want to follow in the women's soccer footsteps? You kidding me? Oh, you want to bring kids in so you can have more than 12 teams? Oh, yeah. Let's everybody, by all means, the one person we gave endorsements to, let's beat her physically. And if you're on her team, act like she's what's wrong by outworking everyone. And she didn't go to UConn like all women do to, play on the best team and be guaranteed a chance. She went to Iowa. It's drafted in Indiana. Like, she went there and broke the record, knowing that she won't have good players around her and win. So, but she still did win. She still is a winner. She made that team as competitive as a team could ever possibly be in any sport. And, she's definitely, by anything I can see, she's a good person. So, and all the racist stuff that people say, like, if this was a black star that broke all the records, there wouldn't be this much hype. Guys, I just want to remind you, you can make that comment about a lot of things in this country, and I'm with you. But sports? Come on. I mean, the white guys still have a hard time. You go down south, ask a white guy, who's better at sports, white guys or, black guys or Spanish guys in baseball. And, they still won't concede that they are not the king of sports. They are mad that the Negro League stats are, intertwined with Major League stats now. I mean, guys, did we have any trouble embracing LeBron James and, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson after he got AIDS? Did we have any problem embracing Patrick Mahomes and, and Justin Jefferson and Odell Beckham? I mean, are you kidding me? These guys are like rock star heroes to kids. I mean, the NFL, like, how can you say that, if it was a black person, they wouldn't blow it out of proportion? I mean, of course they do, because black people generally are the ones breaking these records. And in basketball, it's just funny. It's always funny, The best golfer, Tiger Woods, a black and Asian guy. You don't see any other black and Asian golfers. The best one is a black Asian guy. Best football player, Tom Brady, white guy. Even though the position's changing to be mobile and, more athletic, not him. Best. It's just so funny how that always happens. Best basketball player, it's a white girl. Okay, best basketball player in the NBA right now. If you want to make an argument, it's probably Luka Doncic. The MVP for the last 2 years has been Joker in Denver. Two big, kind of flabby white guys. But, I mean, they lead the league in scoring and rebounds. They win MVPs. One's in the championship this year. The other guy won the last 2 years. I mean, by far, the stars of the league are black, but they're best guys are white, and then in white sports, best people are black. It's funny. It's ironic. I don't know why that happens. I really don't. But hey, who cares? I really want to believe that the younger people get, especially in sports, that we're colorblind. Race is not a thing, and I know that certain things politically have happened, and this is an example of where something political bleeds over. But I think that race is a non-issue in sports as much as it can be, and of course we can get better, and we should get better. But until 2016, 2015, maybe, when we started to go backwards and act like it's 50 years ago, that we already were moving in a direction where, I'm from New Jersey. There was no racism. I grew up in the melting pot in New York and Philly. We all lived with each other. That it would be too strange. You have to hate half the population. And they are your friends. You grow up with them. And in sports, like I said, half of the major leagues doesn't even speak English. Nobody cares. They love the guys. They actually like that they don't speak English. So any things that people talk about with race, again, if the black basketball players in the WNBA are saying, "Oh, the white girls get into it," it's not race. They're using the race as an excuse to be catty, jealous, outspoken, just, disgusting haters that know that they could do that if they were willing to work as hard. And that's what they know deep down. Because basketball is a sport where you're an athlete. This girl is an athlete for sure, but she's not the fastest, she's not the strongest, she's not the tallest, she's the best shooter. She worked and shot 150 times a day, like, it's a Steph Curry style game, because she wasn't going to be the most athletic. So she can pass and she can shoot. And those people can get there too if they work as hard as her. And that's what they know deep down and never will admit. That's the bottom line. And this girl was left off the Olympic team 110%. The same reason that Colin Kaepernick was not put on football teams, because they like to say it's a race thing. Trust me, if he was good enough, race doesn't matter. They put people that beat up their girlfriend in college in the first round of the draft. If he was a little better, he'd be on a team. Tim Tebow, he won playoff games and went on the Jets, and they have him on the front page of the New York newspapers with his shirt off. He's too much of a sideshow. That's why she's not on the team, because the team doesn't want it to be all about her. They think it'll be a distraction. However, it's funny because you're missing your chance to perhaps market your sport, and the one chance you have for the next 4 years internationally. And in 4 years, her appeal is going to wear off, because she's not Michael Jordan. She's great, but she's not going to be better than everyone. She's going to be, I don't think she's going to be as good and probably the best shooter. I don't even know if she'll be the most popular. She's going to present the opportunity for the other talented players. Just like me, to prepare for this, I watched the game last night against the Connecticut team, and I saw that girl, Browson, tall girl. I think she had tall with. She either had something in her hair, she had braids. I don't know. She's tall, very skinny, pretty dark-skinned black girl, and she can shoot, she can dribble, she can drive, she can rebound offensively and defensively, and it's very hard to contain her. And I noticed her watching the game. That is what WNBA people, the players and fans, need to take out of this. That person, just like Tiger dominated until everyone else decided we can be athletes and play. Even when he came back, it wasn't just because of the injuries. It's because now everyone played the same game as him. They're athletes that hit the ball. They're lifting weights just like he lifts weights. They're playing from when they're kids. And everyone else starts when they're in high school. Once that happens, that's a change that never, ever reverses itself. And there's an opportunity for that right now. So, WNBA, this is your time to look like the stupidest people that have ever lived, because you're going to turn away money. You're going to turn away personal opportunities. You're going to turn away your sports opportunity to grow on an international stage because, what? You're jealous? You don't like the attention? She hasn't earned it? You're going to, like haze her? That bully her? And what? Think people are going to stop paying her? She's still going to make more than all of you. And then you don't get any of it. Let's not forget, you're not at the point yet where you're competing with the NBA. You have an opportunity here to have her, for whatever stupid reason, whether it's right or not, whether she's going to be the best in the league or not. She broke records that got people's attention because how it sounds. She broke Division I through Division IV, so even community colleges, men and women, all of the titles, all of the records. Let me read what's just so we have. She leads in career points, scoring average, 3-point field goals, 3-pointers per game, career assists per game, field goals made, 3-point attempts, free throws made, free throws attempted. I mean, how are you going to really not make that a story? More so than men. And yeah, I get it. Men are one and done. They go to college for 1 year. And back in the day, they used to go for 3 years. So they didn't have, and then the ones that did go for 4, there were so few of them, they didn't have a 3-pointer. So, right, she really didn't do anything. But it's a story. You guys, you should that's what you should do. Tell it, hey, you didn't do anything, but guess what? I'll be happy to make money off of you. And thank you. We'll be friends. Stop looking like immature children on stage when you have an opportunity to take your sport to the next level. And you literally are blowing it. Because instead, you're making me take time that I don't want to take to talk about this. And it's like, hate to break it to you, I haven't heard anyone in the NBA support any of the WNBA players and what they're doing. None of them. All I hear is about team unity. Don't hate, congratulate. Like, you gotta move together behind whatever person they decide to bestow the crown on. King James, okay, you're the king, no problem. As long as we all get paid. As long as you're just the king on a shoe because that's your logo, no problem. He can be the king. Someone else can be the president. Someone else can be the prince, and you can have no nickname at all and lead the league in scoring and be better. If you're gonna get paid and you're gonna get a new stratosphere of platform, you can do more than just play basketball. And you're making yourselves look like fools right now. All right, that's it for Fireball, for the episode of, what is her name again? I haven't heard it enough. Oh yeah, Caitlin Clark. All right, Fireball Sports Podcast. Caitlin Clark is white hot. Over and out. We will see you Thursday, where we're going to talk about Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani, and some inside information I have that Ohtani's never going to pitch again. And we're going to look, ironically, how he has almost the exact same number of total innings as Ruth when Ruth stopped pitching. And nowhere near as good of offensive numbers. And we're going to talk about these people that say it's as easy as Ruth was playing against people pre-integration and he's out of shape, and playing against guys that threw the ball without a slider 70 miles an hour on the plate. You guys, again, this is where you got to look to the athletes. Look to the people that actually saw Ohtani and Ruth. They actually exist. And you know what? You'll notice something, that Ruth actually was special. You know, when he came in to the Yankees the first year, when he hit 54 home runs, you know, he had more than double the next three guys. And when you added up the next three guys' totals, they were still less than him. He hit more than the entire Washington Nationals team for 7-year period. Their entire team had less than him. So when Ohtani starts doing that, I'll start to entertain that, you know, he's like Ruth. I'm not saying that Ruth, you know, is as athletic as him or anything, or can throw as hard or swing as smoothly. But guess what? If he had all the advantages of modern day, I definitely know that he would, you know, be like a Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, you know, top of the food chain power hitter. No doubt in my mind, and no doubt in any baseball person's mind. And you know that because the one thing you have besides WAR or OPS, which is, you know, pretty hard to argue with, you have what did he do against other people at that time? Oh, he hit 39 home runs with the Red Sox when he pitched, and it was the dead ball era. And he swung a 49-ounce bat. Ohtani's bat's 33 ounces, huh? And it has a cork center or a very light pop wood, where Babe Ruth swung a slab of oak that weighed 50% more. And they only played day games and changed the ball 3 times a game, so it was always dirty and spitted on. Spitball wasn't illegal when Babe Ruth hit 39 home runs. He was hitting wet brown balls at dusk that you could barely see because they weren't white. You guys see the seams so you can tell, oh, it's a 4-seam, it's a 2-seam, it's a slider, it's a curve, because how the seams are spinning. These balls are brown, and they didn't have lights in the stadiums. 39 home runs, 54 the next year. Yeah, he stopped pitching and hitting at the same time. That wasn't his decision, it was the Yankees. They didn't have a DH. So I'm not saying there's a right answer either. I'm just saying the people that act like it's laughable to compare them, they don't deserve to be talking sports with me. And if you watch this, you better watch it with an open mind and get educated, because that's what's coming up Thursday. All right. I'm Ryan Smith, and I will talk to you soon. Houston, we have a problem.